Peace and love, family. How are you doing today? Today, I would like to talk about relationships. And people might be like, "Oh, what do you know about relationship? You single?" Well, based on experiences and what I'm about to speak on is basically my experiences, and in the hopes that it might help others as well. So I do not consider myself to be a relationship guru or anything like that. I'm not that. All I'm speaking on is just basically my own experiences when it comes to relationships and what I've been through in the past, my lessons and choices and mistakes and good times and bad times. Okay, hopefully this video is not a very long video, but I had broken down when it comes to relationships into three parts. Okay, I didn't Google this. Like I said, this is not something from like Google or anything, a book I read or a movie or whatever. This is just based on my own experience, and hopefully it might help others. You take it or not, it's okay. All right. Now, I broke the relationship setting into three parts. And when I speak about relationships, I'm speaking about it could be family relationships, could be family as in relatives, could be family as in marriage, could be co-workers, could be school classmates and teachers and stuff like that, could be religious or spiritual organization, could be any group. It could be a platform group, so to speak, because people group up on platforms and stuff like that, and relationship, and basically that's a relationship too, and relationships need to be respected and honored, and relationship should have honesty and love. Well, that's the direction that I was hoping things to go. And when it comes to my own experiences, which is pretty decent so far when it comes to certain relationships, whether it is co-workers and stuff like that, right? Now, the first I broke it down into three parts. The first one I have here on my little bookie, right, is acceptance. So acceptance, maintenance, and cut. Okay, so I'll speak on acceptance a little bit, then move on to the next. Now, when it comes to relationships, right, acceptance is a very important part of relationships when based on my experience. And acceptance is basically accepting the other person for who they are, and not only the other person, but accepting yourself, right? So if you know someone to be a certain kind of way, right? Don't, it is not wise to try and change anyone. You can't really change another person when it comes to relationships. You can't change them. They have to be willing to change themselves. And that goes for me, that goes for you, also. So there sometimes we get into relationships and we try, even if it's for the better, encouragement is a better approach than trying to just full blown change that person. So say for example the person, based on my experience, say the person drink a lot, because I used to drink a lot. I used to, but I was kind of one of those drinkers that they would call a functioning functioning drinker. Like I'll drink when I'm home. I don't like to go out. I used to go to the clubs back in the day, but I don't really like drinking out. I used to like get my liquor at the liquor store, go home, and I'll put on a movie, wrestling or something entertaining, and I would have a couple drinks and whatever like that and enjoy the movie or play a video game or whatever it is. And when it comes to that, at the time my spouse, my girlfriend, and she didn't like the fact that I was drinking a lot, right? And it wasn't really like a lot. It's just like it was constantly like almost every day. So every day after work, I'll go home And I don't drink and go to work drunk or anything like that. I don't drink on the job. However, I used to do that at home. And while I'm at home, it's a different setting. So you have a family setting, say family at work, and then you have family at home. And you have family everywhere you go, where there are groups that you see constantly on a day-to-day basis, and you spend time with each other, whether it's for a purpose or whether it's just for entertainment or whatever the situation is. Now, let's get back to the whole acceptance and drinking. So, what happened in that situation was she got really upset and angry because she felt, and I didn't understand it then, so I put up a lot of resistance. But now afterwards, I look back on, sometimes looking back on past lessons. You're not like It's not like I reminisce on the past or anything, but I look back at lessons that can help me to progress forward in the future, present time to future. Okay, so sometimes I look back and I was like, okay, why did that fail, or why didn't it go the way I was hoping it to go? And I was looking at it, and her constant complaint was, I do it every day, and I spend a lot of time drinking and chilling and whatever. Even if we're me and her not doing anything, we're just chilling. She had a problem with that because she doesn't drink. So because she doesn't drink, one, don't she feels like in her mind it's a bad thing to be drinking, period, much less on a constant basis, which I could understand. Afterwards, I was looking back at it and I was like, well, she's only mad because she don't drink. So I was looking at it like that. She don't drink, so she just mad because I'm drinking and I'm happy drinking. I'm a happy drinker. When I drink, I start giggling and all that stuff, and just chill. Like I'm more cheerful. I'm naturally a cheerful person, naturally cool, calm, collected. But whenever I was drinking back then, I quit drinking now. Period. For almost a year now. Whenever I used to drink back then, I used to be like in a more cheerful mood and all that stuff and all that. I'm not like one of those people that drink and get angry. So I couldn't understand why she had an issue. Now, when I look back at it, my lesson that I was learning was that balance is always key, right? It is not the drinking that really was the problem. She wanted more of me being myself, natural around her, without feeling like I'm being that person because I'm under the influence of the alcohol. Okay. So from her perspective, she wanted the more natural me, just me with her, and we chill and whatever. Whether you live together or not, once the time comes together, she wanted that natural me. Okay. I wasn't understanding that. I thought she was just mad because she don't drink. So looking at it from that perspective, I sort of kind of like understand. So when it comes to her perspective, where she kind of like went wrong was that she wasn't encouraging in terms of trying to help me to slow down with drinking or to get to a point where she feels comfortable. She just wanted me to change. Just stop. Just stop drinking. Just stop. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop pouring liquor down the drain and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So that's just an example of trying to change people. And when I say acceptance, doesn't mean that you accept the person and you have to continually deal with it. Acceptance is knowing that the person is this. If this person is that way, right? If this person is a party person, because um, I've had exes in my past where I had cut out club scenes and party scenes to a minimum. Not that I won't go, but minimum. And one of my ex, she used to every week, as soon as it hit, not even Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, party, clubs, all that. And I used to be at home and, do my thing. I find entertainment, I consider that as time to myself also because we lived together at the time. And so I didn't too mind, but then After a while, I start to get a little bit agitated because, I felt like she could have cut down. So it's a similar situation with the drinking on one side, and then another situation with someone else where when it comes to the club scenes and the party scenes. Now, when I speak on acceptance, I was saying that, okay, I met her like that. When I met her, she was always out clubbing and party. As a matter of fact, when I met her, it was at a party. Okay. So then we got together and we got into relationship and we moved in together and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden I want her to stop partying completely and stop doing this and stop doing that. And I was forcing the issue. So from my end, it's the same thing that of a cycle that was continuing, but just in a different way. Now I come to realize that acceptance is you met the person like that. You can't change that person. You can only change yourself. So while you're working on yourself and changing yourselves when it comes to relationships, we should try to not try to change the other person, but try to encourage them, give them different points of view, tell them how you really feel, express that in a loving way and kind way that, hey, Um, I don't mind you partying and stuff like that, but I would really mind that you spend a little bit more time if you can, not that you if you can, but you can, but I would like for you to spend a little bit more time at home, or we do things if we go out, we do more things together. There are other options and ways and means of making things, and be kind with it. Don't be like, oh, you go to party everywhere, and then you start fussing and fighting and quarreling and da, 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 and then it's chaos in the relationship, right? So acceptance, accept a person for who they are, even if it's friends, even if it's coworkers, even if it's a religious organized church, or if you're spiritual or a community, accept them for who they are. Accept them. Encourage them. However, if you feel like, well, they are going down the wrong path, nobody's perfect. And I'll accept encouragement also when it comes to me. Constructive criticisms, encouragement. If I'm doing something wrong or I'm going down the wrong path, I accept encouragement and constructive criticisms, not trying to belittle each other and trying to make the other person feel like, oh, because of this and because of that, they're stupid or they're slow and all that stuff. Actually, you're slow for thinking that way, or I'm slow for thinking that of you. We're not looking at things from both angles. Sometimes when it comes to relationship, we have to look at things from both angles. Put yourself in that person's situation, and and how would you respond and react to whatever that person or whatever you project to that person, whether positive or negative. Okay. Accept people for who they are. When it comes to friends, if that person is a snake, accept that person for being a snake. Just don't go too close to that person. Could be friends from a distance. Hey, what's up? I'm cool. You want to go out? Nah, I'm good today. You know what I mean? Like, I got to spend some time with this, or I got this to do. I got to walk my cat. My cat doesn't, walk around the block and stuff. Accept people for who they are. Be mindful and be open. You don't have to treat people badly. You don't have to look down on people. You don't have to, be aggressive. Sometimes it calls for that. Sometimes people push you to that point where you have to show some form of aggression. And when you do, then you look like the bad guy. When they're not looking at it from their perspective that, well, I pushed this person to be aggressive towards me. So now that they're aggressive, I'm mad because they are aggressive. So accept people for who they are. Acceptance is key. Doesn't matter if it's a family setting, a relative, friends, school, classmates, work situation, religious organization, platform organization, groups, whatever. Acceptance is key. Okay. Next is maintenance. When it comes to maintenance, it simply means that when you're in a relationship, it's always good. It's almost as if you have a garden, right? You have a garden of roses or flowers. Think of your favorite flowers. Could be orchids, could be lilies, could be roses, could be whatever flowers, okay? And you have a garden, and that's your family. The garden is your family. Now, when it comes to maintenance, every now and then you have to water that garden. Watering meaning spend time with the family, with our friends or group. Spend time, show up, be there for them, let them know that you're there for them, and hopefully they will reciprocate the same way. Maintenance, show love, right? Call someone up you haven't spoken to in a long time. That is good to you. You probably just both are busy and, call them up and say, hey, just checking on you, how you doing, stuff like that. That's maintenance also. You're maintaining the relationship, keeping it, and call them up, say, hey, how you doing? I haven't spoken to you in a while. Everything all right? How's the wifey, or how's the husband, or how's the girlfriend or boyfriend, or how's the dog, or how are the kids doing, and stuff like that. And spark a little conversation. Don't have to be long, but maintain that. And within that garden, sometimes you have weeds that grow up in between, right? Toxic friends and family and other relationships and stuff like that, that influence the entire garden. Sometimes you have to weed them out, weed them out. Weed the weeds out, not the flowers, just the weed. Sometimes they pop up in your life situations, and they're affecting everything else around you in a negative way, not a positive way, negative. Weed that out too. Like, all right, cool, I understand, but sometimes people try to portray as constructive criticism when in actuality it's not constructive criticism. It's coming from a place of envy. They but they want it to look like to others, oh, I'm trying to help this person, or but really you envy that person. So you make it look like it's constructive criticism, but it's not. So be discerning, right? Have discernment of people, places, and things. Maintain your relationship, weed out the bad weeds and stuff like that. And it's not personal. Sometimes you just gotta let it go. Let it go, because it's gonna ruin the entire garden to keep all that bush and weed affecting it. And the garden won't look pretty. So maintenance is key. Water it. If you have fertilizer, fertilize the flowers, the garden, and and get rid of the bad weeds and the bugs out of it, because they eat the leaves and they do all sort of stuff. Just create havoc. Some people just like that. It's that, like I said, it's acceptance. You just gotta like, yeah, all right, you like that, so to the left. Beyonce to the left, right? All right. So it is what it is. It's not personal. Sometimes it's like that, and it has to be like that when it comes to maintenance, because especially if you're trying to grow a good garden or a good family setting or a good friendship, sometimes you meet another person along the way, and that person is toxic. That person is affecting your not only you but the other relationships that you have that are good. Get rid of that toxicity. Maybe that person want you to go out and start doing certain things that you never usually do. Maybe into drugs or pills or all that other stuff. And then because of that, it affects your work life, because now you're under the influence, and it affects your relationship, and it affects other people around you. So get rid of the toxicity. Let them stay over there. Okay? Weed them out. Sometimes you're born into situations where you have to deal with it. Acceptance at a distance. I know this person is like that, but that's my cousin, or that's my brother, or that's my sister, or that's my aunt, or that's my mom, or that's my father, whoever the relation, even your kids. Sometimes you gotta just like deal with them. Well, you gotta give the kids a little bit more leeway because they're still immature. They're young, they're growing. So I wouldn't say kids, but I'm talking about people that are more mature, people that know what they're doing, right? People know right from wrong and, under that mature level, adults, right? Sometimes you got to deal with them from a distance. You go to that family cookout, you always know that this one is always into something, always, getting locked up, doing this, doing that, or whatever the case is. Not that people that get locked, ambulance and stuff like that. Not that people that get locked up is bad people, because people do make mistakes and stuff like that happen and whatever. I'm not talking about that situation. I'm talking about people that just all they know and want to do is just stuff that gets people into trouble and themselves, right? And if you're that person, you need help. Okay. Now, like I said, maintenance. If you're born into that situation, you have to deal with them. Could be a coworker, right? Deal with them on that level. Don't get too much into it. Maintain a safe distance, because maintenance is not only sticking close. Maintenance is also okay, maintaining a safe distance from that person when it comes to how you interact with them and what you do with them and stuff like that, that might lead you down the wrong path. Okay. So that's maintenance. And finally, I have cut. When it comes to relationships and relationship settings, right? Cut, meaning cutting off people, right? Some people you just have to just let go. Before I get to cut, under maintenance, it could be a marriage situation where you're having issues and problems within the marriage, and the there are constant problems. To just get up and leave might be difficult, and you might not want to go down that route anyway, because you probably still have feelings for this person, and you know the person is good deep inside, and they can do better. Encouragement is the best way to go when it comes to situations like that. Encourage, don't be forceful too much, because people tend to block and cut things out, shut down when it comes to you're being too forceful and you're be always attacking. It seems like it's an attack. So what people do when you attack them, they put their guards up, right? They won't let you win because you have to fight their guard. So now on the maintenance, when it comes to relationships and marriages and stuff like that, you have to try to make it work as much as possible. Try to, speak to the person. Try to look at things from different perspectives and different angles. Put yourself in that person's shoes. See how you would react and how you would like to be approached within that situation. And how would you deal with that situation? How would you respond? And then you'll have a better idea of how to approach, okay, and how to communicate. And communication is key. Always communicate. When it comes to relationships, communication is key. Talk about it. Don't keep it inside and not talk about how you really feel and what and what would you like to see. But don't do it in an aggressive manner. Try to keep it calm, try to be respectful, and try to, be understanding as well. And also look within yourselves, because sometimes it's not even the other person the issue, sometimes it's us. So look in the mirror, right? If someone keeps talking about something, pay consideration to it, at least. At least. Not saying you have to accept it, but pay consideration to it. Okay, so this person keep talking about me drinking. I've been through three, this is an example, right? Been through three relationships, and the other two people said the same thing. So maybe there is an issue. Maybe I should really calm down and maybe I should work on it. You know what I mean? things like that. Okay. Now let's get to cut. Cut, when it gets to cut, it's like I spoke about being Sigma and Alpha male, right? When the Alpha male, they will show their force at times of leadership, which is within their own right, right? They will show it, but sometimes they show it unnecessarily when it's not called for. With the Sigma, once you push a Sigma to pull that sword, right? There's no going back. Once the sword sees the light, that swords want food. So once you push a Sigma personality to draw that sword, there's no going back. And it's difficult to push a Sigma because Sigmas are more diplomatic. They want to talk about it. They want to interact and try to fix the situation on a diplomatic way. They want to Sigmas want to be more, they'll rather talk about it and have conversations and try to work it out than join that sword. Alphas, they'll draw that sword real quick. You slip up once, twice, three times, you out. Done. You're gone. Sigmas, they'll try. But once you force that hand to pull that sword. Now that sword wants food. There's no going back. Once a Sigma makes up their mind that this needs to be cut, it's within it's beyond a reasonable doubt, right? Not within a reasonable doubt. It's beyond it. When they pull that sword, it's justified to an extent that the person that gets cut, not in a literal sense, the person that gets cut, even them will say, "Yeah, I deserve that." That's when a Sigma pulls their sword because the diplomatic approach didn't work. Tried, speak, and then some people they look at people and think that they're stupid. Don't judge people by the cover. Get to learn people, get to know people, get to understand their minds. Don't assume, no matter how goofy somebody might look, don't think that they're goofy just by the outward appearance. That person might have a brilliant mind. That person might know more than you do when it comes to a lot of things, right? And when it comes to cutting, now I'm speaking about cutting. When I do cut someone out of my relationships and my life, right? Not that I don't sometimes do it and I think twice. I'll be like, should I really have done that? But then when I look at the rap sheet, I'm like, well, it's justified. It is well justified. And things sometimes you got to pull the entire weed out by the roots. It's not cutting the lawn with a lawnmower and it grows back. No, it's weeding, it's pulling it out by the root, never to come back again. That's it. It's done. It's gone. Finito. Okay. Sometimes we have to get into that mood. And sometimes people cut us off. And that's fine. Because especially if they're toxic and they feel like you're moving different and you feel like you're better than no, sometimes people use that kind of excuse because you're trying to walk the right path. So they'll look at you, oh, you think you're better than us and this and that, and then they'll walk out of your life. Me? Bye bye. If it's on a negative perspective. If it's on a positive, then I'll look within myself and I was like, well, maybe I do act certain way or whatever towards this person, and I'll try to, let them know that well, genuinely I'm not that kind of person. It's just that I keep meeting people that are a-holes. So you kind of fit the bill, and I thought you were one. Sometimes, so people will walk out of your life. Don't be too stressed about it. Let them go. Just keep doing you. Keep working on self also. You will find the right set of people, your group, no matter what kind of relationships will find you and you will find them. Just keep getting rid of the bad ones. And then that will allow the good ones to grow and blossom and bloom, right? So cutting, sometimes you have to cut people out of your life. You have to, even if it's a marriage. That's why people get divorced. Sometimes, if you constantly try to work on it, which I would suggest first, always try to work on the relationship first. Always try to take the diplomatic approach and fix things and see if it can work out. But you cannot change someone. You can only change yourself. So if that person refuses to change and it's causing more sorrow and stress and depression and all that stuff, your health, your own health, sanity, mental health, physical health, emotional health, all that plays a role. You are important too. You are an important person. You have to maintain and take care of your own health, sanity, and physical health, spiritual health, whichever the case. And that goes to also that sometimes we get unequally yoked. When the Bible speaks of being unequally yoked, it doesn't go only about people that are religious and people that are non-religious. No, unequally yoked, meaning that you're with someone in a relationship that you guys do not fit. You're not on the same path, the same direction. You guys going opposite. You guys not one person is positive, the next is dragging everything else down. Okay? And that's being unequally yoked, no matter what form of relationship it is. Can be at home, can be at school, can be at work, can be at church, can be at synagogue, the mosque, can be whatever, wherever, right? Platforms. Some people it's just not for you. It's not personal. They might be good for someone else. They help other people in, certain things. Maybe they're just not for you. And therefore, it comes to a situation where, well, just got to cut. If they walking out of your life, they cut you, and you know that they're not good for you, or you know that you're the toxic person, you're not meant to be together anyway. However that plays out. So it comes to a point in time, do not sit in misery and sorrow and crying every day and depressed every day and all that stuff. You have a life to live. Everyone has their own life to live. Experience this planet as as much as you can. Try to travel, try to spend time doing things you love. Go roller skating or go boating and fishing and go hiking and whatever, and spend more time with your family, your children, your animals, out in nature. Do things. We too caught up in everything that's negative going around us. We forget to live our own lives. We have to live our own lives, and therefore we have to also cut, right? Cut people that you know for sure that they ain't even trying to change. They ain't even trying to work on it. A matter of fact, they don't even care, right? So over the years, and this is just from my experiences, okay? So over the years, I didn't know how sharp my sword was until I started using it. My sword is too sharp. At this point in time, people don't know when I'm gonna pull that sword because they don't. I don't want to even get into that, okay? But if I do pull it, I'm pretty sure I have my reasons. And it's not ill intent. It's not out of anger. It's not, oh yeah, this person pissed me off. Gone. Cut. No, it's not out of that. When I do pull the sword, I'm like, okay, all right, this person is not for me. This job, not for me. This whatever, it's not for me. And I still do it with love. I still do it with peace, not out of envy, not out of anger, nothing. And I would encourage, I can't force anyone to do anything. I'm not trying to change anyone here. My job, my mission is not to change anyone. I will try to encourage you to work on self. And in doing so, I'm also doing that for myself. I'm trying to work, and we all learn from each other. We all grow through learning from each other. And for those out there, family, friends, whichever group settings and stuff that is in my circle, right? And even those are not, but mostly in my circle, that are working on self, that have good hearts, that are trying to do the right thing, that are helping others, themselves, their families. I would like to send out my appreciation and love and prosperity to you guys. And may the Most High bless you and your family as well. Thank you. And we are not perfect. We stumble, we fall, but we all have to try to work together. We all have to, it comes to a point where you just have to cut some people. And my sword is no respecter of anyone. My sword just wants food. But it's up to my own discernment to know when to pull that sword. Because once I pull that sword, it has to be used. That's just my perspective on it. Doesn't have to be yours, right? So, having said that, hopefully this video helped with relationships. You cannot change anyone. You can only encourage them to change, and hopefully you're encouraging them to change for the better, for positive light, and not in a negative way, right? The only person you can change is yourself, and work on yourself. I'm taking my own words, so when I'm speaking to you guys, I'm also talking about me too. Okay? Love you all. Let peace, love reign within your lives. Let prosperity and blessings fall upon you. And when I say things like this, I genuinely mean it, right? Take care now, and you guys have a wonderful day. Peace. And have a wonderful weekend. Have fun.